in California, you've got to know something. Now the, lack of a better term, deep staters, okay? There's a huge portion of people who would like nothing more than to keep the kids. Remember all those kids that came in? The kids who came in who were unaccompanied minors. Remember that? Remember these guys? Well, these kids came in and now they want to keep them in. And so, it's so incredible, just so incredible. They want to come in. They want to do that by, just making sure that the NGOs that previously brought in the 300,000 kids in the country, that I've heard today has been actually a low estimate. It's actually 600,000 that they've lost track of. And now California Democrats in the state assembly want to pass a law that says that anyone can come and get your child out of school and be allowed to do that. You say, Victoria, what does that have to do with any of this? And the answer is they want those kids who were brought in illegally by cartel members and or whomever, NGOs, hastened by the NGOs. What they want them to do is they want them to stay and plus up the congressional districts because that's their want. There's supposed to be no borders. Didn't you hear about it? It was in John Lennon's song back millions of years ago. And they don't want anybody to be sent home. There ought not be any sovereignty. They have all of those desires, but they have the desire to keep these people in the country so that they can vote. And so Pastor Jack Hibbs of Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, very popular church in Southern California. I never visited, but I will now. I watch him he does Sunday sermons and he's got all kinds of stuff. And I watch him with great regularity, but I missed this one. This is pretty remarkable. Why? Because what happens is this new bill that they're talking about in the state of California not only allows some stranger from an NGO, which was its purpose, to take your child out of school, but it allows any child to be taken out of school. So if you think, put it this way, as a commenter on my story that I wrote about it today, put it this way, imagine a MAGA cult. They always call us cultists. Imagine if these guys came in and they took out liberal kids, the children of lefty families, and then they decided to take them away and put them in a home with two parents and a normal home. What would the left say about that? What would they say about that? I'll tell you what they'd say about that. They'd say, oh my God, that can't happen. You can't be serious. But they're willing to do it with everyone else's kids, including the kids they claim to be supportive of, including the children who are the least of these, the children brought in by the cartels, thanks to Joe Biden, puppy guarded by the NGOs, planted in certain areas of the country. We don't know who their parents are, and we'll find out as we go along. There is no requirement, none whatsoever, for the person coming to grab a child out of the school to show any ID. No background check. Nothing. Pastor Jack Hibbs said if AB 495, I think it's 495, passes, get your kids out. And he talked about it on stage.
And so we want to do it again. We want to make a statement because everybody, this bill, AB 495, 100% strips parents of their parental rights. It allows an individual to obtain this new form that comes with the bill. They can download it, they can get it mailed to them, they can go pick it up. They fill it out, and they can name a child. So let's say Susie Q. So John goes to a school in California and says, I have this form and I am asking for Susie Q to be put into my, to be received into my custody. I want to take her out of school. Watch this. The bill does not require a background check for this man, requires no identification, no driver's license, no nothing. Here it is. Hang on. There's no requirement in the bill for the school to call you to ask you if it's okay if John takes your daughter out of school.
Yes.
It is literally being called by opponents of it, I'm one of them, the California legislature trafficking bill. This is it. This is the end of it. This is the end. This is it. I have to tell you, if this bill passes, I am going to ask you to leave the state of California. You're going to need to pack up and you're going to have to get out. You got to get out. You got to run with your kids. You got to go. If you have kids in the state of California, if this passes, you got to go. I would not subject my child to 1 second in this public school system with this new law, AB 495. Your child's safety is number one in your life. And I don't care if you like the weather. And I never thought the day would ever come when I would encourage you to leave.
He's about ready to cry.
Just leave the schools.
But that day, you have no idea what's coming to California regarding homeschools. Listen to me when I say get ready to leave.
Okay, so that's Jack Hibbs, and I'm trying to figure out what's coming for the homeschools as well, because that impacts my life as well. So, okay. So I've never heard, he's a stand-and fighter guy, okay? He's taking a bunch of people, he's going up to Sacramento on August 19th at 1 o'clock on the stairs of the Sacramento Capitol, and they're going to take a stand. Some people are then they're going to go lobby lawmakers, and they're going to tell them what they're doing. And so, but Jack Hibbs is not, he's a fighter. So is this gal. She's kind of a lefty, I think, or an iconoclastic lawyer. And she went to the committee that was hearing this bill, entertaining this bill. And she goes, I don't think you know what you're doing here.
I'm a mother of three, a child of immigrants, and an attorney who spent her career helping immigrants and fighting human trafficking. I am also desperate to help children affected by ICE raids, but AB 495 is not it. We all know this because in 2021, the federal government faced a swell of unaccompanied minors at the border and was desperate to place them quickly. What did they do? They reduced vetting procedures, and as a result, the Department of Homeland Security has lost track of over now 600,000 unaccompanied minors. Despite this, California wants to do something similar, but even worse. With just one sheet of paper from the internet, California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment of her, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic. It's stated right here in the caretaker's affidavit that I printed for you, which I pulled directly from the bill. Line 6 allows this transfer of parental rights without even having to speak to the parent. The author claims AB 495 is about giving immigrant families the agency to choose the safety plan that works, that preserves family unity. Where is the parental designation? Their
family
signature
unity
at the bottom here is not required. She's co-opting a term non-relative family member from the foster care and dependency probate systems, but without any of the procedural guardrails.
Okay, over at PJ Media. And she continues to talk about Pastor Warren's parents. If Democrats pass AB 495, this is it. Pack up, grab your kids, leave California. And here's what she's talking about. Here is the caregiver authorization affidavit. And this is an affidavit that some stranger, whoever they may be, it attests to their ability to allow themselves to take your kid. You have to know the kid. Well, you don't have to know the kid. You just need to know a name. So I can imagine a list of children. Maybe some NGO has a list of children. They have birth dates and all that stuff. They send it up. Somebody goes to the school and picks up the kid, and then they put the child in another school or what have you. This is not helping children, just so you know. Spiriting them over the border with cartel members, not helping children, obviously. Away from their parents, not helping children. They have done this to arrogate power to themselves. That's what this is about. They will do all manner of evil to arrogate power to themselves, to make sure, because, that's the natural order of things. The natural order of things is that Democrats have the power, and they even want the power over your own children. Check this out. I want you to see this. Warning to caregiver. Do not sign this form. If any of this, they call them caregivers, if anything is incorrect, they've already helped people cross the border illegally. They don't give a flying flipping frittata if what they're doing is incorrect. And then the second warning to local education agencies and healthcare providers, because under this, you can get them doctors' help too. Mental health, gender switching, who knows, all manner of care. Warning to local educational agencies and healthcare service providers. A parent's signature or seal or signature from a court is not required to take your child. Wow. That is freaking amazing. And they're trying to do it. Next time, I'll have Tuesday, I'll have like an update on this, let's find out if all the media hysteria, and I'm among those, kill this bill. But they're I keep doing that. Their visceral belief is that they will do anything and they should do anything because after all, they should be in charge. They're on the side of right. That's for their belief. The natural order of things is that the Democrats should be in charge, i.e. leftist. Back in the old days, Democrats never would have pulled these shenanigans, never would have pulled this stuff. But here we are. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Welcome to the Terror Dome. And what they did was they went in and they switched it around. And they used the superstructure of this bill. And then they went in and changed it. I highlighted this area. And I will get more information about this because this is like, what? What does this mean? Upon enrolling or re-enrolling any child, that means they can take them out, put them in another school to hide them. The bill would require a licensed child daycare facility to provide the parent with written information relating to the model policies developed by the Attorney General described above, including but not limited to information related to family safety plans, etc. That means family safety plans refers to, hey, if you see ICE, here's what to do to get out so you don't get busted. The bill would require provided information to be updated to include any revisions or updates to the model policies issued by the Attorney General. Because a violation of these provisions by a licensed daycare facility would constitute a crime, this bill would impose a state-mandated local program. Because a violation of these provisions by a licensed daycare facility would constitute a crime, this bill would impose a state-mandated program, i.e., we're just going to not have Rob Bonta do anything about that. Now you're saying, Victoria, this is only California. California's crazy. Come on, man. Oh, you just wait. They're doing this here? They're doing this on the West Coast, It's going elsewhere. And by the way, shouldn't we stand up for the parents who would lose their child were it to become law? They could literally say, oh, Victoria Taft's child or whatever, her daughter's child, whatever. Yeah, let's go to school. Let's get them out. You don't think that wouldn't happen? You don't think that wouldn't happen? Every single child under this bill who's in school, and it sounds like they're going after the homeschoolers too, could be spirited away, taken away, and it would be legal. All to arrogate power to the Democrats. That's not just wrong. It's evil. It is evil. They will do anything to separate parents from their children, to separate the family unit. This is not the way America was based on the promises and proposals thereof. This is evil. It's communism is what it is. And all these people are of that ilk. Democrats are not Democrats anymore. They're not. They're leftists. Well, so what happened now is we go to across the country. Here we go. Here we go, everybody. And I'll make this short work because I got an interview that I want to get to with a Mandy Gunasekara and about the EPA, and it's wild. So in Virginia, we have a story that I wrote today, actually, because I wanted to use it for this program. And I thought, okay, they're not your kids. School counselor arranged student abortions without telling parents. You've heard the story before, right? Except everything about it is illegal in Virginia. There are times when the parents, she's afraid, oh, my dad's going to kill me if he finds out I'm pregnant. Papa, don't preach. But there are ways to get around there. They, in fact, I think pretty slippery ways that they could go around and get a kid out of school. But this school didn't bother to do that. This school didn't do that. They just took the kids out of school. They got money from the principal who took it out of taxpayer funds, according to this report. And they took him to the abortion clinic. One girl was 5 months pregnant. 5 months pregnant. And she got there. And the other girl, both girls reported that they were told that this is your only choice. You have to abort this kid. And the 5 month pregnant girl, who was probably feeling some movement in her womb by that time, ran away, said, no, I'm not going to do this. And she ended up having her baby. Thank God. Can you imagine the evil that it takes to do this to impressionable young girls? And they say that the right is bad at this. This is just insane. I mean, this is insanity. It's evil. There's no other word for it. And you will not be able to disabuse me of using that word. It's evil. Because it's not right. So what is it? It's wrong. It's real wrong. So there was a guy who wrote the story about this. And he wrote the story about it, and he had recordings of one of the mothers who found out her daughter had been taken to an abortion clinic, and she was crying. She goes, I didn't have anybody call me. Nobody told me. I mean, as I say, this is really sick stuff. By the way, Fairfax County, Virginia, these are two Hispanic girls. Two girls. Original Spanish speakers, English second language. Is this some kind of, are you helping out here, school? Centerville High School did this. So you've got people, they want your kids Nancy Pearcey writes a lot about this. She's a really super smart lady. She's written multiple books. But one of the things that she says is that for time immemorial, since, certainly I say time immemorial, that's not actually true. Just recently. How about that? That's not time immemorial. Recently, probably since the 1980s and 90s, there have been stair step after stair step after stair step of decisions that have been made in the courts which remove fundamentally the proximity of children to their parents. All of a sudden, according certain rights to children that remove them from the purview of their parents. And it's happened over and over and over.